What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Raw Calisthenics. We're now on episode number 19, and today I was hitting a back and core day, and I did a little bit of weight training too that you'll see later on in the video, but I would say today's workout was about 85% calisthenics, and I felt pretty good today. I felt like I got everything done very efficiently, which is pretty rare for me because I feel like the last couple workouts I've been in the gym for like 2 to 2.5 hours, which is a really long time. But what ends up happening is I start talking to people and I'm also trying to film at the same time. So it leads to me not having the best rest intervals and overall not having a very focused workout. But it was a different story today because I was in and out of there in about an hour, 15 minutes, which is really good for me. And I was able to do that despite there being a lot of people at the gym during the same time. There was about 2 or 3 group training classes happening in the area that I was trying to film too. So I had to kind of work around that, which it wasn't a big deal, but it kind of, made it a bit tricky to film, which is why some of these angles aren't the best and you'll see people walking through, but it's all good. And that's actually what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Just the fact that when you're on your personal development journey and when you're trying to get better at calisthenics specifically or any other skill in life, there's going to be more days than not where things aren't going to go in your favor. You're not going to be as motivated. You might feel discouraged, or there's going to be roadblocks that are in your way. And I just wanted to remind you guys that, if you feel that kind of way, then that's a part of the process and that's normal for that to happen. But when that does happen, it's that much more important to push through and to really, channel yourself, because it's in those moments that it's most important for you to put in the most amount of effort possible and for you to really get the most out of it, because that's how you're on the right path. It should be challenging and it's not going to be easy. I would even say the harder that it is and the more of a struggle you have to go through, the more you're going to get out of it and the more that you're going to grow. So the more pain and the more adversity that you are faced with is a good thing, and you should be grateful of the fact that you do have it. And I'm not saying that me having to film in other areas throughout this workout is me going through adversity, but it's just an example of me having to get the video done, even though it's not the most ideal situation, and I don't have an option because I'm committed to doing 2 videos every week and I need to post this tomorrow, so that's the situation that I'm in. But I feel like people too often want to give up or want to quit when there's a small or a large amount of adversity thrown their way. And it's important to realize that, the only way that you're going to lose is if you give up. That's the only way. So I wanted my core message here to be to keep going no matter what, because no matter what you set out to do, what goal you have or what you want to learn within calisthenics, where you want to see yourself in the future, the only option is to keep going, no matter how you feel, no matter what's thrown your way, but it's very important to have a process and have a set routine that you follow every single day to ensure that you make progress. But it's on those days where you're being tested, where it's not going your way, where you have more self-doubt than you usually do, or you've got something else in your life that's taking your attention away. But at the end of the day, whatever goal that you set out to achieve, you have to realize that even if you feel self-doubt, even if you feel like it's not working or you don't have what it takes, there's a reason why you made that goal in the first place. And if you set that goal and if in that moment you felt inspired and you felt motivated to be able to accomplish it, then you have what it takes to see it through. It's all just about being able to develop a actual process to be able to get there, and to not allow yourself to just fall into that trap, into that mental trap of thinking that you don't have what it takes and that, you're incapable of being able to do certain things. Because that's a part of the process, and that's just, like I said, a test being presented your way, and it's all about how you respond to it, how you handle it, and just, the only option is just to keep going. And, you might not feel as though you're making progress in that moment, or you might feel like it's a waste of time. But if you really are committed to wanting to achieve your goals, then you're not going to let something small or something major get in the way of you continuing to make progress, even if you feel like you're not in that moment. Because if you just think back on your journey, if you sit back and reflect on the amount of progress that you have made, whether it be a few weeks, a few months, or a few years. It might not always seem like you're making progress every day, but if you look back, you've made a lot of progress, guaranteed. And the more progress that you do make, it just further solidifies you being on that path to become whatever person that you want to become, or to be able to achieve whatever goal it is that you want to achieve. Because the more progress that you make, it just further solidifies you becoming the person that you want to be. And the more hours that you put into it, it just further reinforces that. And if you were to invest all that energy, all that time into trying to master a skill, trying to get better in a certain area in your life, then if you were to give up at any point during your journey, then that would just be a complete waste of all that time and of all that energy. So you need to really take hold of all the time and all the energy that you spent towards trying to accomplish your goals, because it really adds up to be a lot. And if you were to give up at any point during your journey, that would just be a shame, because you might just be a few days or a few weeks from being able to break that plateau and reach the next level, but you're not going to know unless you keep going. So that's the only option. And I'm very passionate about this topic because I feel as though I didn't have this mentality until recently. And if I was able to just, have a resilient mindset towards my goals earlier on in life, say through middle school, high school, and even college, I feel as though if I had this kind of mentality then, I could have became a different person, or I could have reached another level back then, and I wouldn't have to be doing all this work now in such a short time frame. Because I've already talked about this in other videos, but I feel as though I wasted all of my 20s partying way too much and not having a focused mindset towards really anything. So it's really important to be able to instill this mindset no matter what age you are, but I would say the earlier the better. And I believe what separates the people who are successful versus the people who are not is simply this, because it's so easy to give up when you're faced with the smallest amount of adversity, and that's just the way a lot of people are unfortunately programmed to respond to it. But if you have that resilient mindset, and if you're able to build internal self-confidence throughout the process, but I think the main issue is that people just have a lack of self-confidence, which is what I did in the past, and I still do to this day, which still affects me. But if you just resort to allowing that negative self-talk to really infiltrate and to really take hold and take captive of your mind, then it's going to be hard to have any confidence and to see things from a positive lens. But it's all about being able to know how to respond to it, because inevitably throughout life you're going to be tested, and it's all just a matter of being able to respond in the right way to those tests. And to keep it simple, the only way to do it is just to keep going and to not let anything take you down. Because what's going to happen is the more tests that you go through and the more adversity that's thrown your way, you're going to figure out how to handle every situation. And the more that you do keep going in all of those moments, and the more that you're able to push past that mental barrier, it's going to reinforce that you are becoming that person, and you're going to develop a resilient mindset throughout that entire process. So, the more that you do it, it's not going to per se get easier, because, all the tests that you're going to be faced with are going to get more and more challenging. But the more of a cycle and a flow that you get into within this process, you're going to build momentum. And yeah, it's not going to get easier because everything is going to get harder and harder, but that's a sign that you're on the right track. But when you have momentum, then it's going to be harder to slow yourself down, and you're just going to be in such a cycle of, pushing past all these obstacles and, holding it to your standard and to yourself, that you're not going to let anything get in your way. And yeah, that's the only way that you're going to truly make a large amount of progress. And it's also really important to realize that, being able to push through all these obstacles and being able to have this mindset can also apply to other areas in your life as well. And even if you're not trying to accomplish anything that major to where you need to have this mindset like I'm talking about, but it's only a good thing that you can adopt, because inevitably life is going to throw hard times your way, even if you're not goal oriented, or if it doesn't relate exactly to a goal. You're going to go through hardship throughout your life no matter what. So when you do, it would just be better if you already have this mindset ingrained into you to where you can easily get back up on your feet, and you won't be as affected by it, and you'll just already be in that cycle of just knowing that you need to keep going and that you need to keep pushing, and just not being down in the dumps, not being so emotional and so tied to something external, and just being able to keep your foot on the gas no matter what's going on around you. And I'm not going to lie, this is holding true as I speak right now within my life, because I've had an extremely hard time getting through this video, as I do most raw calisthenic videos, because as I've mentioned in a previous raw calisthenics video, the reason why I make these videos is to target my weakness of having a hard time speaking. As I mentioned in that video, I've had a stutter throughout my whole life since I was in 4th grade, and it still affects me to this day. And with me not having that much exposure or experience being able to tell stories, explain things throughout my life, because I always avoided it, it makes it really hard for me to do so in these videos, which has led to me being on my 65th take right now, and it's been probably like an hour and a half of me trying to record this, whereas most people can just go in one take and it's completely fine. But I just wanted to bring that up because that's why I make these videos, and like I'm feeling this in real time, to where I have that thought of like, damn, I'm not making progress, I should be better at speaking by now because I've been doing this for 19 weeks. And other people my age shouldn't have this issue, and like I just feel just kind of stupid, and I just feel kind of like a fool. But I can't let all those thoughts get to me, and I can't feel as though I don't have what it takes to become better, because I have to realize that it's going to take a lot longer than what I expect to see progress and to see measurable results. And that's why people give up on their goals so easily, because they want to see instantaneous results. But the reality is that I can't expect to just get better, magically, even though I feel like I'm putting in some effort, but it just takes more effort than what you think. And, you just have to keep on pushing no matter what. So that's why, I'm still going throughout this video, and I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop, because I'm fully committed to being able to, make these videos and being able to get better within my speaking. So, I'm not going to stop. And, every time that you are able to successfully push through adversity, like I said, it's going to reinforce you becoming that person, even if you feel like you're not making progress in that moment. But with that, I will leave you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.